What's better, intermittent fasting or eating breakfast? Well, this 2025 meta-analysis of 20 randomized controlled clinical trials concludes that the health benefits of intermittent fasting are calorie restriction dependent, meaning you only get them if intermittent fasting results in a caloric deficit. And this meta-analysis shows that intermittent fasting does not provide any additional health benefits above and beyond what's achieved by caloric restriction. This 2025 meta-analysis compared intermittent fasting to regular caloric restriction, so the same number of calories as the intermittent fasting, but spread out throughout the day, and looked at how that affects inflammatory markers, and showed that calorie restriction was likely more effective at reducing low-grade inflammation than intermittent fasting. This 2022 meta-analysis that compared intermittent fasting to the same caloric deficit but spread out throughout the day showed that they were equivalent in terms of their benefits to LDL cholesterol, total cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. Although this 2025 meta-analysis showed that calorie restriction resulted in a bigger decrease to triglycerides. And this 2025 meta-analysis that specifically looked at weight loss from intermittent fasting versus the same amount of calories spread out throughout the day, so traditional caloric restriction, in type 2 diabetics, concluded that while intermittent fasting did offer short-term advantages, traditional caloric restriction was linked to enduring metabolic enhancements, including decreased visceral fat and improved insulin sensitivity. Intermittent fasting is a dietary structure that can help some people achieve a caloric deficit. But the benefits of intermittent fasting are due to that caloric deficit and the weight lost. Nothing special about intermittent fasting, not even autophagy. And here's the thing, if any other strategy works for achieving that caloric deficit for you, that's probably better. This 2025 meta-analysis highlighted that hunger was significantly lower in the traditional calorie restriction group compared to intermittent fasting. And this 2025 meta-analysis that just looked at how traditional caloric restriction versus intermittent fasting affects hunger and satiety concluded that intermittent fasting protocols are associated with elevated hunger compared to calorie-matched strategies, drawing into question the long-term feasibility of intermittent fasting for sustainable weight loss. And if weight loss is a goal for you, there's so much science showing the benefits of eating breakfast regularly. This 2017 review highlights breakfast skipping as a major risk factor for obesity. This 2008 study that followed about 6,700 people in the UK showed that the bigger the breakfast you ate regularly, the less weight you gained over the 3.7-year follow-up period. This 2013 study out of the US showed that people who regularly consumed breakfast gained less weight over an 18-year follow-up period than people who consumed breakfast 3 times per week or less often. And beyond helping us to maintain a healthy weight, eating breakfast reduces our risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And this 2023 study compared the impact of different feeding window times on glucose regulation and insulin sensitivity, with subgroups divided based on whether or not people ate their first meal before or after 8:30 in the morning. And what they found was that feeding window length did not matter, but that eating breakfast before 8:30 in the morning reduced insulin resistance. Every hour later that eating commenced for the day was associated with approximately a 0.6% increase in glucose level and 3% higher of a marker of insulin resistance called the HOMA index. So calorie for calorie, it's better to eat breakfast and it's better to eat 3 meals a day. But again, if intermittent fasting is the only strategy that works for you to achieve that caloric deficit, then that's what it's good for. Just know it's not giving you any additional health benefits.